I like to watch anything like that because
Oh my gosh.
That's you see me shaking my head because
I'm
like,
too old school.
how do you know that the
I'm
person
clutching
that you finally gonna come face to face with doesn't have an antenna growing out of their forehead? Like,
see, this is why y'all are not true binge watchers. Y'all are judging the experience, and I'm just watching these idiots for entertainment.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of But Clearly Podcast. I got my girls with me. Hey, Landy, how you doing?
Woo, hello.
Hey, Nee, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Okay, so tonight we're going to be talking about a very popular topic, in my opinion, anyway. If you watch TV, tonight we're going to be talking about But Clearly I'm a binge watcher, okay? And so it's funny because as we were preparing for tonight's broadcast, I literally start writing down all of the different series and different things that I binge watch. And I need to repent. Clearly, I have way too much time that I've wasted watching all of these shows. But that's another topic altogether. We want to get right into it, hop right into it. Okay, Yolanda, we'll start with you. Okay, what is a binge worthy show that you watch?
So I have so many. Again, I need to repent too. I think we need to have a delivery session.
Oh
But
my.
the thing that I've been binge watching a lot lately has been a show called Your Honor. Please go and check that out.
Yeah,
That's on what is it? Showtime?
On Showtime.
Okay.
It's really good. And then another thing, again, if y'all real saved, just skip on past this. But You on Netflix, and I say that because it's so gory. That Crazy Joe is nuts on Netflix. So I've been watching that. And then I always like to binge watch Harlem, which is on Amazon Prime. I've been enjoying that show so much. So there's so many different things, but those three are at the top of my list.
So I tried to watch You. I just couldn't. I couldn't get into it.
So here's my thing. I watched the first episode because I was like, all right, I haven't found anything that I wanted to watch here recently. So I was like, all right, let me give this a try. The newest season was starting. I was like, well, let me start from the beginning. So I watched the first episode and then I just had to walk away from it. It's not that I didn't like it. It's not that I won't return to it to watch it. I just think that it was too heavy for what I need right now. I need something light and funny and all of that stuff. And that show is intense.
And I think I watched the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes of the first season. And then for me, it was like, nah, fam, I'm good. But Harlem, I tried. I could not get into that show either. Like,
oh my goodness.
Really? I couldn't get into. Maybe I was turned off by the first couple of scenes, but I just was like, no, they trying to do Sex in the City all over again, and they will never be defeated. And so I was like, click, goodbye.
Okay, so go ahead, Yolanda.
I definitely think people in the comments should just like put on blast that you don't want You in Harlem. But I can see if you were in the Sex in the City era, any of these shows with 4 women and their dynamic, you're probably going to always be comparing it to that lens. But I love Harlem because it deals with such contextual things for Black women specifically. It's just so great to me. But You is a little heavy, so if you're looking for the lighter side of things, but I love suspense thrillers, so it just gives me what I need because I cannot predict what is about to happen.
I liked something that Nee said when she was talking about her thoughts, when she said it really depends on the mood. And I think it really truly does. It's like, how do I want to feel when I watch this? Do I want to try and figure it out, or do I just want a really good laugh? Or am I feeling a little bit romantic and I want to watch something that's about love? So let's talk about some shows that maybe you watch that make you feel all warm and fuzzy inside. Do y'all have any binge worthy shows that you guys watch? I think I have one, kind of, sort of. It's not all the way there, but I think it is a little bit. Insecure, because it does talk about, it's her journey, right? It's her story of relationships. There's a little bit of humor there, but ultimately I think that she really truly does desire and want love throughout the entire space of time. What do y'all think?
I love Insecure. I think it's absolutely great. Again, it goes back to what you're saying about what do you need from the whole situation. I find myself not going to the love stories. Maybe I just need to work on my personal space because
Clearly
I'm
we all
like,
do, because that was the only one I could think of.
yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. What do I now? I will tell you, I did binge watch season 2 of Love is Blind. That is a very weird show.
I never got into that.
Oh my
during
God.
the
What is
pandemic.
that?
Okay, so Love is Blind, but I'm also a fan of Married at First Sight. So we'll talk about that in a minute too. But
Oh, wow.
Love is Blind is a show where people are put into these pods. They don't see each other, but they're forced to like have these multiple rounds of dates for like weeks on end until they get to a point where they decide that they want to propose to someone sight unseen, because again, the premise is love is blind. So you're making the connection based on the personality of the person, etc. When they come out of the pods, they take a little engagement honeymoon somewhere, and then they spend time with each other over the next several weeks to determine whether they're going to get married or not. I like to watch anything like that because
Oh my gosh.
That's you see me shaking my head because
I'm
like,
too old school.
how do you know that the
I'm
person
clutching
that you finally gonna come
clutching my
face to face
pearls.
with doesn't have an antenna growing out of their forehead?
Right.
Like,
See, this is why y'all are not true binge watchers. Y'all are judging the experience, and I'm just watching these idiots for entertainment. So I'm like, oh, okay.
And I think that might be it, because I'm so like, when I watch something, I'm not just watching it. I feel like I'm semi-critiquing it too. Like, I would have never wrote that sentence that way, or she should have entered out of this door, not that door. I would have put this with that shirt, you know? So I know I'm very like production minded when it comes to watching stuff. Although I do watch it for entertainment, and I watch it to just, for me, it's more about an escape from my everyday crazy schedule in life. But I don't know that I could get into a show like that they just get together and just decide to get married. That, to me, that just is unheard of. It's just, I can't even process that.
It makes the show so great. And I think the same thing for Married at First Sight. For me, it's these social experiments that I would never participate in. But it's like someone is very bold enough, I'll use that expression, that they decide that they like to play in traffic with their love life. And it's like a train wreck that I cannot stop watching. I know we talked about stuff I like to watch, but I want to hear what you all are binge watching.
Yeah, Nee, you particular. So we all agree that maybe love is not the genre that we normally watch. But what is the type of show or some things that you tend to gravitate towards?
so interestingly enough, I did over the weekend binge watch Harlem season what was it, season 2, and I really enjoyed it. I did the same thing with the first season. I do like it. I do see the similarities between Sex and the City, but to Yolanda's point, it's through the lens of Black women, which, you know, there's other dynamics that exist there that would never be explored in a setting of a Sex in the City. So definitely love that. So one of the ones that like right now, I'm not really watching anything. Like the two that I am watching, one, the Upshaws or whatever, I've been using that as while I'm at the gym on the treadmill to watch 2 episodes of that to kind of like get me through my little workout. So I guess, you know, indirectly I'm binge watching that. But the last thing that left an impression on me was The Last Kingdom.
And talking my language.
I find that I like a lot of period pieces.
Me too.
So whether it be, Elizabethan or, something earlier on or whatever, I absolutely enjoy it. I cannot wait for the movie.
Yeah.
For The Last Kingdom. My director, actually, he said that if I like The Last Kingdom, that I should watch, what is it, Valhalla? Or something like that.
Absolutely. It's a must.
I haven't ventured over there just yet, but that's on my, that's next on my list.
Okay, so I'm sitting at the edge of my seat because now y'all talking my language. Y'all know I absolutely love period pieces. To me, it's something about good and evil and good always winning in the end, and just the culture. Some of the stuff can be a little bit dark, and certainly there are parts where I'm like, the blood of Jesus. But I love like The Last Kingdom is a good one. Vikings Valhalla is good. Bridgerton, The Crown. What's some other ones I have? Oh, The Spanish Princess. If you haven't watched that, that's a must. Reign is good, although I didn't like the way it ended. I love that show Reign. Literally up until the last episode. I was like, y'all gotta be kidding me.
I loved Reign. I wish that Reign would do what
The Last
Kingdom is doing.
Yeah.
Because it has that historical context to it. So yeah.
So another couple ones, and with the E, have y'all watched that?
I have not seen that.
Okay, it's another period piece that's super cool. So as you might, you can tell from Game of Thrones is another one. Like I love.
Never watched an episode of Game
of
Thrones.
Oh my gosh.
Never had the desire.
Reunita.
How you like The Last Kingdom and don't get into Game of Thrones?
Easy.
Okay, so again, if y'all are watching this on YouTube, I just need you to put deliverance emojis. I don't know what. And then I need you to put dragons, like constantly in the comments. Because how are you in the Lord's year of 20 and 23 and have not watched Game of Thrones? When I tell you Game of Thrones, they were on the last season. Talk about binge watching. This is why I need deliverance. I watched in 2 months all of the seasons leading up to the last season, all the episodes in 2 months, just to be prepared for, because it just sucks you.
Yeah, it does.
The storytelling is great. It's a period piece, and then
and there's almost like suspense too. There's like, who's gonna be the one? Who's gonna be the one that ends up getting the throne? And it's so many like peaks and valleys, and you think they're good, but then they're not, and it's so many just plot twists. Yeah, I love it. And y'all know The Lord of the Rings is my fave. So
I have yet to watch the series.
When it came out with the Rings of Power, I was there first day. Just when it dropped at midnight, yes, I was watching.
Now, has it lived up to your expectations?
It has lived up to my expectation. However, it started off really slow. But a lot of these period pieces, they do kind of start off slow because they're introducing the different characters. And so for us, they don't just throw it at us. They give us tidbits so we get an understanding of the different characters and how they connect together. And then it's like, it goes off like gangbusters. So for me, those are some. So I love period pieces, and I also love, like, I don't even know how to describe the genre, but like shows like with law and like Law and Order. I could watch that. NCIS, I could watch that. As a matter of fact, I'm watching NCIS from the beginning, the very first season all over again.
Really?
Yes.
I think I stopped that show like right before Ziva died the first time.
Can you not tell the people just in case they want to watch it?
I mean, if you haven't seen it by now, then no,
you're encouraging them to binge. You're getting delivered, so we're coming out so that they can go in.
So another one, like I love stuff like with Law and Order. Have you ever watched Queen of the South?
No, I heard that was really good.
So I started it. But
so
then
good.
Because of the network that it was on, I missed an episode, and I'm the type of person that I don't like to just jump back in for most shows.
Netflix, they got it.
it was like I needed
Thank me
to
later.
like catch up, but by the time it was time for me to catch up, it was just like I'll watch it later, and I just never got back to it. But it's a good show.
What are some other stuff that you guys watch?
I will say, Shavonda, I'm much like you. This is why we're best friends.
Mhm.
I love anything that's going to have a criminal bent to it.
Mhm.
Blacklist that comes on.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Never watched an episode of Blacklist.
It's so good.
It's so good. Netflix again. So Netflix, if you want to sponsor us, you can do that too.
Say that part.
But I like to watch Blacklist. The other thing that I like to binge watch are documentaries.
Yes.
So I am obsessed. So like if it's something about Jeffrey Dahmer or if it's things about.
Yeah, that was dark, but that was good.
Yeah. Like I like to get inside the minds of people and the real things that are going on. So those are some of the things that I like to binge watch. Let me ask you all this question. With binge watching, and I think Netflix and Hulu, all those streaming services, they at first will put all the episodes out at one time so that you can binge watch. But I've noticed lately that they're starting
piecemealing it.
Yeah, they're starting to drip content, or if it's 8 episodes, they're going to have a part 1 with only 4, and then they'll come back later. How do you all feel about them not letting us binge watch? Like they want to control.
I think it's diabolical and disrespectful. That's what I think. I don't need nobody to dictate to me when I can watch a certain. So what I typically do, I got their number. I wait until it all drops and then I go back and watch it. 'Cause I'm just not. I can't keep up with
week to week.
Yeah, from week to week. Like those days that's what we were raised on. But those days for me are over. I can't go week to week. I need to see it in one setting. Sometimes if I'm like doing other stuff, I'm multitasking. Sometimes it's watching me, I'm not watching it, but either way, just to have it there in front of me to just kind of flow as I'm doing what I'm doing, it helps me to not to have to keep up with, I got to make sure I see X, Y, and Z next week. I just think it's disrespectful.
I think it's interesting that though they were created as an alternative to network television, they're kind of starting to fall in line with the formula of network television. Because that was what was enticing, that you would get a full season versus having to have what I like to call appointment TV, where, every Tuesday, every Thursday, this time, this episode's going to drop or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of interesting that they're kind of departed from what really caused them to be successful.
Yeah. What about some old school binge watching stuff that you guys watch? So like, okay,
Reunita has one that she watches every night. Clearly, she cannot go to sleep without watching this particular show.
My girls, the Golden Girls.
I think we can all agree that
every
it's a
night.
Classic that, I mean, I literally could watch that tomorrow and laugh like I never saw the episode. It's just one of those.
Well, not only that, but when you look back on those episodes, like they literally were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And the fact that they talked about different subject matters that at the time would be deemed risque or taboo that now are commonplace for today's television, if not, even further. It's interesting. And then within the setting of it being older women that are discussing these things or, working through these different topics. From immigration, being single and, sex at an older age.
Blanche is going to get you. Can I say that on these TV? Blanche was going to get killed, in her old age.
So, they really talked about a lot of hot topics then that when you watch it now, and then the good part about the show, because I was a kid when it came out. So I remember laughing at the show because it was funny and not understanding exactly what they were talking about.
Yeah.
But now as a woman watching the show back, not only is it funny, but then now that you understand what the heck they're talking about, it's funnier.
Yeah, I agree. That one's a classic. Martin is a classic. Living Single is a classic. What's the other one that Gina was in?
My Wife and Kids.
My Wife and Kids is another one. And what I appreciated about those types of shows is you didn't have to turn it off when your kids walk in the room. I mean, as a mother, for me, with someone who is that has a child that is young, you know, it's so much censorship that you have to do now because everything goes. I mean, they'll say certain words and stuff on TV now that they would have never said, you know, if it was 5-6 years ago. So that's why sometimes I rather gravitate to some of the older shows. But now there are some shows that I watch when Preston go to bed now. Shows like Power.
Ooh.
Let's get into
now,
it.
You know, Power Book 2, they're coming back. Their new season starts this month.
They do.
Y'all.
What y'all think?
I need to figure out how I feel because I feel like I'm in conflict. It's the lust that rises up. I'm like, do I need to give that up for Lent? Because I want Ghost to come back, but I
think he will
in the Power universe. I think so too.
Yeah.
Love everything in the Power universe.
I do. I love the spinoffs. I love a lot of what 50 Cent is doing right now. I don't think that there's one show that he has out now that isn't.
I still haven't watched the BMF one, and still have not watched the Kanan Power Book. I still haven't done it. At some point, I will, but I don't know. I think it's because of my disdain for his character in Power. Like,
but you can't take it out on the franchise.
I can take it out on his particular one. Yes, I can. Like, I don't want to know anything about this ruthless, heartless individual that could kill his son and then sabotage his frenemy by literally just turning his life upside down.
When you see his story,
his son into the streets.
When you see his story.
Yes, I said it.
No, seriously though, when you see his story, you get to you don't empathize with him, but you understand how he became such a monster. Like, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, hey, to each his own. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. But I would encourage you to maybe rethink.
At some point, I will. I mean, it took me a minute to even get into Power Book 2 because, you know, for me, once Ghost, you know, was Ghost, I was like, where do we go from here? Like,
but I just feel like,
where do we go from here? How can it top that? How can it be better than that? And then once I finally got into Power Book 2, I was like, oh, okay. I want to know more about these characters, and Tariq doesn't make me want to take out a belt every other scene. So, you know.
He did in the beginning, but he came around toward the end. In the beginning, he did. Okay, so let's talk about one show that I know that we have all watched. Inventing Anna.
Anna Delvey.
I just absolutely I love that show.
It's the gutsiness.
It is. It's the audacity.
It's the unmitigated gall.
Right. That part.
In real life, though, like,
for it to be a true story is what blows my mind.
Exactly. It's sick to me that someone, like, when I am broke, I don't like to go to the grocery store, much less go to another country at the most elite hotel that there is and just be like, y'all, my father is wiring you some money, so why are you trying to arrest me? Like, I really feel like we need her level of faith. She needs to do a class on faith that I'm going to survive these situations, because that show is absolutely nuts to me.
But I think that it's not just the level of faith. It's just the audacity to just exercise that level of privilege. As
that part.
As a white woman that could get away with something like that simply because she was convincing enough without having to have her credentials checked until it was too late.
Yeah.
You and I could never do that, okay?
Never. I can never tell people in the courtroom that I'm not showing up to court until y'all give me a wardrobe that's fitting my taste to show. Like, again, if you haven't seen Inventing Anna, I don't want to say too much. You definitely need to put that on your list of things to watch.
Yeah, that was a whole situation.
Well, you know, she's now out. She's out of jail now, or out of prison now.
Yeah.
And the last I saw that there's supposed to be some sort of something that she's supposed to be doing to try to capitalize off of all of it. I don't know if it was like a reality TV show or something, but
I will watch it, unfortunately. And I don't do reality TV, but I think I will watch that one. I'm gonna just tell you the truth. So let's talk about, have y'all watched All American?
No.
Yes. So that's become Nia and I's, that's become our little Monday night appointment TV between All American and Homecoming All American.
Yeah.
I will say that I did not go back to the beginning, which drives Nia crazy.
You have to, though.
But I just really kind of jumped into the series and have been following along. I guess for me, the storylines are good. I do think that I don't see how the show continues beyond where it is currently. I do think that they are still giving high school storylines to people that are now in college. And maybe they
Isn't that real life? Do people really grow up?
I mean, to a certain degree. To a certain degree, but I feel like some of the story needs to kind of like pivot a little bit. Mm-hmm. I do think that with I'm trying to not say too much.
Yeah, because I don't watch it real time. Again, I wait until it drops on Netflix and then I watch the entire season. So I need you not to say anything.
Well, what I'll say is this: I just
feel
like it just needs to pivot. I'll be curious to see how they carry the show from where it is going forward, because I am on the current season watching it with Nia.
Yeah, don't say a mumbling word.
That's it. That was it.
But no, that's definitely a show that you that it's like, I mean, they do talk about some really heavy topics, but in the full scope of what's out there now, I think that it's really relevant and something that you would enjoy, Yolanda. You should check that out. So what are some other ones that we haven't thrown out? I know there's one. Blessed be the fruit.
I was about to say, Handmaid's Tale. It is dark.
It is very dark. It's heavy.
Let me go ahead and put this disclaimer out here. Super Save Saints. Don't be putting in these comments your thoughts. I'm going to watch it. Handmaid's Tale is a lot to absorb. Yeah. But I think that the dystopian state that they're showing, what's really interesting to me is how much the United States is moving towards that. And it doesn't seem that far away. That's all I'll say about that one.
It's almost scary.
But you know, with the thing that when I watch certain shows, and you know, at a certain point, I'm gonna say Jesus about anything. But what I think is very interesting is that their foundation was based seemingly off the word of God, and they just twisted it for their convenience, and how easy it is for people to shift their mindset for their convenience. So for me, it's like, it's so telling at how certain societal waves are coming and how certain things are in different sectors and spectrums, that shows just how close it is to go from being right to thinking you're right, but being absolutely wrong.
Yeah. Well, the Bible does say that even the very elect will be deceived. So, I mean, that's just kind of scripture fulfilled, even in a fictitious setting. For me, when I first watched the first 2 seasons of Handmaid's Tale, it was heavy. Yeah. I enjoyed it, but it was heavy. And it's weird how something so dark and to a certain degree sinister could then have this love story. Mm-hmm. and then you know, this view of woman empowerment and all of that stuff or whatever in there. But I'm gonna tell you what, because I would watch it on my lunch break in my office, and I don't know why I did it, because I would be sitting in my office with the light off, watching that, and by the time it ended,
turn the lights on.
No, I turn it off so
like
they
my
can
kids
leave me alone. But that's for another day. But by the time the last episode finished, I sat back in my office and I was like, I need a cigarette and a shot of bourbon. Like,
oh my God.
What? Like what?
It's heavy though. It's
the
really
world.
I mean, I honestly one thing
it's happening here.
You make a point though, because shows like that, like even when the new season came out, I had to be like literally, I'm not trying to be deep, but I had to be in the right frame of mind, make sure I was prayed
That's
up.
why I haven't watched it
because it's yet. You know, a lot of this stuff, and you know, there are people who are called to just to the entertainment industry specifically to pray over what's being cast out through the TV. So I'm not going to go into too deep into that, but for me, it's important when I do watch these types of shows that I'm like prepared mentally, because if you're not, it could be a lot. And some people may say, well, why you watch it? Well, you know, to each his own, but
it's a great storyline.
It's a great storyline.
And to Yolanda's
point, storyline.
You literally see art, reflecting real life in real time.
Real time.
Literally policies that are being put into place that would serve as like the preface of what you see in this show. Like, because where the show is, there was at some point a reckoning, because it was a buildup of these two different views of life colliding that then created the environment that you see on the show. So, and it's scary.
It is scary. It's scary. So just a couple of honorable mentions on my behalf, and I'll open the floor for you guys to share some that we may not have touched on. One, for me, is Dope Sick. If you have not watched this show, I'm going to tell you right now, it is a must see. It talks about how the evolution of the issue that we have with addiction, drug use, over-the-counter drugs, and prescription drugs. And it's just so eye-opening and alarming. And for me, it hits very close to home. It was around the time that I get injured and I was prescribed all of this medicine. And I believe that if it was not for that show, I might have been looking like Pookie in them. It's just to God be the glory. It's very educational about how easy it is to become addicted to prescription drugs. So I would suggest that everybody and their mama watch Dope Sick. Honorable mention, although I didn't watch the end because she got on my nerves after a while, Being Mary Jane. I used to love that show, but I haven't even watched the last episode because I was just so mad at.
So fun fact, I've come in on episodes, but I've never really watched the show.
How do you do that though? How do you come in on an episode? I just feel
because
like
you know how like you're at home and you're surfing, you're channel surfing or whatever, and you see something and it's like, oh, this piques my interest. I think I came in on an episode where some dude was throwing another dude into a glass table. Like, it was like, oh, this piques my interest. Maybe I want to learn a little bit more about what this show is about. But it's like, I got to go back to the beginning. And I just didn't have time to go back to the beginning. I wasn't that interested to go back to the beginning. At some point, I might watch it.
Got it. I just feel like, I don't know how you peek in and pop out. Like, I'm just weird like that. I guess I'm just one that, again, I need to understand the dynamics of the characters and the essence. I need to know where it's, you know, what city is this in? I need background.
I think that's why I don't watch those series, because I want to know all of those things that you're saying. And it's like, I'm not invested enough to be bothered to go back to the beginning. So I just don't watch it.
Got it. So a couple more for me. Blind Spot. I can't get into it right now.
I love that show.
Isn't it awesome? Okay.
I love that show.
Blind Spot is a good one. The 100, although I didn't like the ending, but it's like a sci-fi type series, but it's about 100 kids who the whole world was destroyed, but it was just 100 kids that were left to kind of and be incorporated back into life and start all over again. So that's good. Raising Dion is something, if you want to watch something with your kids, that's a really good one. Manifest, although I do plead the blood every single time I watch it, it does have a great storyline. Grey's Anatomy, although I didn't like the way it transitioned toward the end. Selling Sunset, I do like shows with real estate and different things like I just love those types of shows. So what are some of y'all's, what are some honorable mentions that we haven't really talked about as we wrap up for this episode?
Really quick, I know I'm going to be judged a little bit, but I don't know what it is about Tyler Perry and that Chitlin Circuit, but it just continues to draw me in. And it's Sisters on Wednesday. The storyline, the character development is non-existent, but I am committed to watch that show. I don't know what it is, but I do like to watch Sisters from Tyler Perry. That is one that I would say is a...
You know which one is, well, I don't know if this is Tyler Perry, but it's Greenleaf. Is that Tyler Perry? No, that's Oprah.
That was on OWN.
It's on OWN, but it's now on BET, so that's the reason why you probably think it's
okay.
The other one that I was going to say that's on OWN, I love Queen Sugar. We're at the end of it now, but if you did not watch Queen Sugar, that is such a great...
So I started off with Queen Sugar. The first episode was too slow for me, and I never revisited. But Ralph Angel can get it on any given Sunday. Okay.
Right. I don't know what that means. So what are y'all talking about? I don't know. To be honest with you, I haven't really watched any of Tyler Perry's shows or series. I just...
Yeah, when you have something, a faction that's called the Rackadouchians, you have completely gone over the edge. Okay,
but you know what? I admit it. I binge watched on BET+.
You binge watch what?
Ruthless. I'm telling you.
I don't even know what that is.
Don't get sucked into the Tyler Perry web, because something is behind that portal in that TV. You just be like, it's a train wreck. You cannot stop watching it.
I say all of his shows look like Spanish novellas to me. I just can't do it. But shout out to him for employing Black folks and putting out.
Yes, keep doing what you're doing, bro. We appreciate
putting out those shows for sure.
Oh my God, I can't stand it. Yolanda, was that all?
We need to wrap this up. This is
let's share a little bit about some honorable mentions that we maybe have not touched on.
Okay, so I'll give you some recent and I'll give you some old school, because for me, TV, I went from appointment TV to kind of binging more into reality television, which that's a whole other conversation within itself. Mm-hmm. But if I'm going to scripted television, which I am making a return back to scripted television because reality TV is just in shambles. But so current that I binge watch, Will Trent. What was that show on Hulu with the young lady that's the lawyer?
Oh,
that Michael Ealy was.
Is it For the People?
Michael Ealy was a character on the show.
Doubt.
Reasonable Doubt. I love that one. All of the Chicago shows on Wednesday night on NBC. So Chicago Met. Oh, wait. Wait a minute.
Let me tell you something about Reasonable Doubt. That Ely got a spirit on him, and I couldn't handle it. I literally had to be like, I can't watch this show because I'm feeling things on that field. Jesus, I can't do it. Seriously, if I'm gonna stay celibate, I can't. I gotta watch my ear gates and eye gates.
I will say that there were certain scenes in a couple of episodes that were pretty intense, for sure, for sure. But overall, the quality of the show, the script
is phenomenal.
The twist and turns, because I'm a mystery and suspense kind of girl. For sure, I really enjoyed it for what it offered.
I'm sorry, but go ahead.
All of the Chicago shows on NBC.
Yes.
So Med, Fire, or as I call them, that Nia hates, the Fire people, and and PD. Yes. Now, when it comes to my old school, not just Golden Girls, I will binge watch Murder, She Wrote in a heartbeat. Yes. I will binge watch Matlock in a heartbeat.
Yes.
So those are just a few. Oh, and I do love though some of the other content is a little special, I do love Hallmark mystery movies. Their mystery series that they have, Garage Sale Mysteries and Aurora Tea Garden and all of those shows. So,
wow,
Hallmark, huh?
That's interesting.
But the mystery series are good.
What's your podcast title? You know you've turned into your parents when.
But clearly, you have an old soul.
But clearly, they need to get these television shows together and give you some better content.
That's
just
true.
saying.
Now, I will say, I mean, we didn't talk about the Olivia Popes of the world and, you know, Scandal and...
Shonda still owes me a better ending for Scandal. And that's just all I'm going to say.
Now, yeah, I mean, but...
I literally sat at the TV looking like, that's it? That's all? I mean, we just... And I guess, in hindsight, I guess that is Washington for you. Like, it blows up, it's a thing, and then it's just on to the next. Business as usual until the next scandal erupts. So,
one that had a really good ending, in my opinion, was what's the one with Viola Davis?
How to Get Away with
Murder.
So good.
That was good. Now, some of the stuff I was like, okay, but all in all, very well scripted, great actors from top to bottom. I thought that it was phenomenal. So, you know, this is a little bit of a glimpse into some of the shows that we watch and have watched over the years, but we would love to hear from you. You can just share in the comments if there's some shows that piqued your interest that we share and you want to watch it and give us feedback about it. We want you to do that. Or if it's some shows that we didn't mention that you think, listen, this is a must see. We want to hear from you. Make sure that you share with us so we can know about those hidden jewels as well, right? We want to thank you for another episode of But Clearly Podcast. If you haven't hit that like button and sharing and you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting on, okay? Because we drop every single Tuesday and we want you to be the first to know what's going on with us. Now, we want to have a special thanks to our podcast sponsor for the evening, Bougie Cosmetics. For the girls who get it is the tagline, okay? So if you want to check Bougie Cosmetics out, her email is www.missbougieplace.com. And you can also reach out to her on IG and TikTok at Miss Bougie Place on IG, which is Instagram, and on TikTok at Miss Bougie. And she has an amazing cosmetic line. From lipstick to lashes, you can't go wrong. So make sure you support her. And just because you've tuned into us on tonight, we have a special code for you. When you shop with Bougie Cosmetics, you use code BCP10 to receive 10% off your next purchase. We want to appreciate you guys and thank you guys so much for hopping on and just sharing this time with us today. Until next time, we'll see you soon. Bye.